Wendy Williams revealed that it was only a 2-sentence long letter that took away her basic rights. Now she's trapped in a guardianship by a woman who wants to see her fail. The same guardian who was sued for $30 million after putting another one of her clients through the same hell. Wendy is trying to fight the good fight, but we can all see that she is slowly losing it, and it looks like the judge is going to make sure that Wendy Williams has no hope left. So let's get into it. We've got new details into the guardianship of Wendy Williams, how she got there, and what these people are doing to keep her trapped in the system. I'm so grateful we're starting to get some of these receipts because I feel like the guardianship, in my opinion, would rather allegedly unalive her and get rid of her because they don't care about her well-being. Not to be morbid, but it makes me think of like Britney Spears, and I feel like those evil people in that conservatorship probably regret not just getting rid of her when they could have. And I think Wendy Williams is fighting her hardest to try to keep herself alive, essentially. The guardian that's controlling Wendy's every move is Sabrina Morrissey. We've talked about her extensively on the channel. She has tried to get the documentaries removed. She tries to shut up Wendy, and she wants to lock her up in an even more intense facility. We're coming up on 3 years of Wendy being in this guardianship. It was on January 20th, 2022 when Wendy's psychiatrist, Rami, wrote a letter to her financial advisor, Lori Schiller, who worked at Wells Fargo. Not a fan of Lori because Lori's the one who submitted this information to get Wendy's bank at Wells Fargo froze, so she had no funds. That same month, the bank froze her funds and began pushing for a temporary financial guardianship, much different than the guardianship that Wendy's currently in, where they control everything in her life, her finances and her health and everything she does, like whether she goes to dinner or can speak to the media. What's disgusting about this letter that was recently released was that it only took 2 sentences to go and strip Wendy of her rights. If you don't believe me, let's go ahead and read these sentences together. I'm not even going to call it a letter because it's not even a proper letter. It reads, "Dear Miss Schiller, Miss Wendy Williams has been my patient for over a year now. Over the last 6 months, she's been unable to make reasoned decisions and her insight and judgment are severely impaired. Sincerely, Rami," this doctor. I mean, what did he learn in like school? I mean, is this really all you're going to give us? This comment reads, "That looks like a letter we used to type up in high school to cover up for us skipping." Another person added, "That's all it took? That's crazy." Another commenter writes, "2 sentences to get freedom taken away? That's wild." And it is insane. It makes you question whether we really are a free country when we have a probate system like this that's technically legal.
This is the letter from Lori Schiller. Lori Schiller is the financial advisor of Wendy, who was also a higher up, I do believe, vice president at Wells Fargo, okay? And in this situation, a lot of people have done under the table conversations and a lot of HIPAA laws have been broken.
Now, a source close to Wendy told the Shade Room that the letter was instrumental in getting the guardianship approved. Additionally, the source claims that the document reflects premeditated efforts to undermine Wendy Williams' independence. Quote, "These 2 sentences from a doctor shouldn't be enough to take away someone's rights. This document should have never been shared with a financial advisor or a bank." The source believes that the guardian, Sabrina, was pre-selected and not part of a list of court-appointed guardians. Like, it was completely set up, which I can see that happening because she's got a lot of money, and it reminds me of Britney paying her lawyers $40,000 a month to do essentially nothing for her. The Shade Room was also told that Wendy's attempts to fire her then financial advisor, Lori, remember that Lori lady, and her then manager, Bernie Young, led to manipulation with the threat of a guardianship. Ultimately, the source thinks that Lori and Bernie schemed the guardianship plan together and noted that Bernie's been arrested before for using Wendy Williams' money fraudulently, so like he's got a past of stealing from her. Why wouldn't he try again? Here's the reality. Insurance companies often do not want to pay you. If you are injured in an accident, their job is to delay, deny, and underpay. And they get away with it when people don't know their rights. That's why you might need Morgan & Morgan. They are the biggest injury law firm in the country. They've secured billions of dollars for their clients, including a $12 million settlement in Florida. And that is 34 times what the insurance company originally offered. And unlike other firms, they don't just settle cases for quick cash. If the insurance company does not pay up, then Morgan & Morgan is happy to take them to court. And the best part, you don't pay anything unless they win your case. If you have been injured, you can check out Morgan & Morgan and use my link forthepeople.com/Sloan or scan the QR code on the screen and you can file your claim right now. It takes minutes. You probably could finish one before the end of this video. The consultation is free. The process is simple. There's nothing to lose. Thank you, Morgan & Morgan, for sponsoring this video, and enjoy. For some context, in March 2022, Wendy blasted Bernie Young for allegedly using her credit cards to pay attorney fees. She hired him in 2019 after dropping her ex-husband, Kevin Hunter, from the manager role. She said, "I know for a fact that Bernie used my Amex card to hire an attorney to file a petition against me. That was done with my American Express card. Bernie Young, you're no good." Yahoo Entertainment confirmed that a review of the document showed 2 credit card charges in January 2022. Imagine your own manager using your own money to try to get you locked up. This reportedly happened before Wells Fargo froze her accounts. The first charge was for $10,000, which I wonder if that's part of the plan, like to go and make it seem like her money is being used chaotically and Bernie is part of that problem. But the $10,000 went to a New York law firm specializing in healthcare law, and then the second payment went to a psychiatrist who wrote the 2-sentence letter. Wendy just posted a video on April 21st, but the video is from 2022 and it shows Wendy explaining what's going on with her finances and how Wells Fargo is taking advantage of her. I don't know why she's sharing it now, but it's giving us more insight into how she got here.
Hi, it's Wendy. You know, I do my own banking at Wells Fargo, and Lori has made it virtually impossible. I've had to fire her at my own discretion. And because it's been hard, I've had to hire outside help to communicate with my bank. I need access to my accounts, and I hope this gets resolved.
Now, remember how that one source said they felt that Sabrina Morrissey was not just randomly selected to be Wendy's guardian? Well, it's fascinating that Sabrina actually has a past and was sued for stealing $30 million from another person. So it seems like she may be in on this game and familiar with how to do this, which is why she was allegedly hand-selected. She was sued by her former client, Jose, in a high-profile case that alleged serious misconduct during her time as guardian. Jose, a New York man, suffered a serious construction accident and was awarded $5.5 million in a personal injury claim. Sabrina, along with her firm and another 10 lawyers, became involved as the court-appointed guardians for Jose in January 2010. But the lawsuit was filed in November 2022, like 12 years later, for $30 million in damages. There were a bunch of allegations, one of them being a conspiracy to impose a baseless guardianship on Jose. He didn't need this guardianship, he didn't want this guardianship. He accused them of manipulating the court processes to maintain control over him and his finances, despite several doctors saying that he was okay. They also were depleting his personal injury award through excessive and allegedly fraudulent attorney and guardian fees. So he got this money from the accident he had experienced, but they were draining that account dry. He also claims that he was stuck in an oppressive and humiliating guardianship for over a decade, using litigation as a tool to maintain control over his financial status. And Sabrina is the person in charge. It looks like the entire case was voluntarily dismissed by Jose's attorney in August 2023 without prejudice and without cost to either party, which means it could be refiled. I don't know exactly what happened, but Sabrina must have gotten the hint and lightened up. Now, going back to Wendy, Sabrina seems to be her #1 enemy right now. I mean, she's the one who's in charge and could end the guardianship if she wanted to, though it seems like the judge and her are in cahoots together.
Chris Cuomo and Wendy Williams' best friend ended up speaking today, and I want you guys to hear what was said.
I just got a piece of information that the woman who is currently the appointed guardian has been accused of a scheme to rob a different client. There's a $30 million suit against her. You have said you have concerns about what is going on with this guardianship. How so?
When I was in New York and staying with Wendy in the summer, I noticed when she would call, she had no access to her money, so every time she had to do anything that she had to pay for, she had to go through the guardian. And she would call to order her breakfast at 7:30 in the morning with the Guardian, and she would take the order, and the order wouldn't show up until sometimes noon. And so Wendy wouldn't have any food. And when I went back to LA, I would have to send her food from Los Angeles to New York through delivery service, because she wasn't the communication wasn't there, and she had no other access to money than this Guardian. And so that's what was concerning to me, because she was telling me she didn't have food. And her publicist also, who lives out in LA, both of us were going back and forth sending food to Wendy because she wasn't having access to food.
It's insane to see that Wendy's friends are watching her like deteriorate, and they see this woman who's supposed to be in charge and keeping it all together doing the complete opposite. I mean, recently the judge said that Wendy Williams' career is over, but she went to Instagram to update her bio, writing, "My career is not over because God is great and He has the last word." The message was more or less for Judge Lisa, who, according to TMZ, told Wendy during a court hearing last Thursday that her career is done, that she's never coming back. Wendy's personal attorney, Joe, has been trying to get into the courtroom, but he can't just walk right in because, yes, he is her personal attorney, but he's not approved to be on this case or to go and operate in probate court. So he's trying to weasel his way in there so that he could go and put up a good fight, because Wendy doesn't really have anyone on her side, especially when it comes to Judge Lisa.
At the end of the hearing, this judge first basically said Wendy's family was terrible, and then looks at Wendy.
Which I don't disagree with, because her son did steal a lot of money from her. I mean, he's not great, and her ex-husband is even worse.
Wendy, and says, you know, you had a great career. Your career is over. It is never coming back. You're done. Why would a judge say that?
And what is the relevance to what they're actually there for? It just seemed like it just seemed mean-spirited.
It makes no sense at all. I mean, it's just like a hateful, and it also just shows where her mind's at. Like, she's not looking towards rehabilitation when it comes to Wendy. She's already said, case is closed. You are never getting your freedom again, nor your career.
This judge won. She's not in the entertainment industry, so I don't know where she would get off opining about that and why that's even relevant to her role as a judge, who's basically a judge of the law, and in this case, judge of the facts.
It's almost like she thinks she knows Wendy so well, and which kind of makes me think, like, did they plan this? Like, she knows Wendy would never get back into the entertainment industry. It's like, well, you don't really know that, but she's already made her mind up.
And why she's not a neurologist either. I mean, clearly, and someone who should be opining on whether Wendy Williams has the capability to get better and become but I will tell you, I've spent time with Wendy this week, and I've spoken to Wendy, Harvey, as you have, I'd say hundreds of hours over the last several months. And I will tell you, she's as Wendy Williams as she was 10
I mean, and Wendy's speaking to everyone. It sounds like she just wants to get back out and socialize with the world. She likes people. She thrives off of social interactions. Some judgmental judge, right? A source says it's pretty outrageous. Wendy showed up to court on Thursday and appeared before Judge Lisa. Our sources tell TMZ that the judge railed on Wendy's niece, Alex, accusing her of leaking information to the media and threatening her with sanctions for future conduct so that she won't be able to go and spend time with her aunt. Now, when it comes to Wendy actually trying to fight her way out of this guardianship, she has to go to the beginning, to Dr. Ramy or Lori, and to figure out what went wrong there, because it is illegal for a doctor to go and just speak to your financial advisor without any consent. So they need to go and prove that that was illegal and that this guardianship was started on an illegal act, which would make it invalid. They filed a violation actually against the Dr. Ramy, writing that on January 20th, 2022, that he sent this letter to Lori, who was the patient's former employee, without the patient's knowledge and consent. And by employee, I think they're alluding to how Lori worked like with Wendy, like managing her money, making sure she was paid. This improperly obtained letter is being used as basis for illegal proceedings against the patient. So again, if they could prove that this letter should have never started in the first place, then they could go and pretty much void out the guardianship. But I don't think anything's going to get better for Wendy, especially when it comes to her facility and her health. Lately, Wendy's been in the dark about her medical condition. She's got thyroid condition related to Graves' disease, and it looks like her medication may have changed, but she's not even sure. Wendy says the nurse came in recently with a different color pill, and nobody has said a thing to her. And she's trying to figure out what the hell's going on with her thyroid condition and whether it's getting better or worse, because that's a little bit for you'd have this person come in and you're used to getting your blue pill every day, but now it's like a pink color and nobody's told you what's up. Wendy's anxious to get answers, but it looks like she's being ignored by both her doctor and her guardian. They're not answering her calls. Wendy says she's tried to call her doctor but can't get through, and she's been asking her guardian to try to get into touch with her doctor, but again, she hasn't heard back, which is literally the one job of the guardian, is to go and be responsive and to get the person what they need. And the fact that there was a change in her like pills, I would be concerned too, because we saw how like Brittany was given lithium and she had no idea what she was given. This heavy metal that just blocks these receptors in your brain to where you can't feel certain things. So we are going to be sending prayers to Wendy, #FreeWendy. I want to hear what you guys think of this in the comments below. It's so disappointing, and it shows how not only is our justice system messed up in a few ways, but a lot of different ways in a lot of different areas, and I don't even know how you fix that. But I want to hear what you guys think. I have hope for Wendy, but right now it does not look like we're in a good place. So send your prayers, your good vibes, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.